This couldn't happen again. This is that once in a lifetime. This is the thrill divine.
The movie is Roadhouse, 1948, starring Ida Lupino, Cornell Wilde, and Richard Widmark. And the movie takes place not far from the Canadian border in a small little town known for its moose hunting and also for a happening little night spot called Jefty's. And it's a cocktail lounge and a bowling alley. So the locals love it. They go there. They drink and bowl and drink. And, right?
Right.
And landing on the scene is Miss Ida Lupino playing Canary, or singer, Lily Stevens. And she comes to do her 6-week gig at the Cocktail Lounge bowling alley. And that's where the story begins, and it just gets better and better. And there's lots of great music in this movie, right?
Truly, yes.
Really good. But before we can even get to that, we need to get through Miss Ida Lupino, don't we? Now, you have loved her since you were a kid.
Oh, a big crush on Ida.
Yeah. So what drew you to her then, and what draws you to her now?
Well, this I can prove. I was in the 3rd grade at the time, and we had a yearbook where we had to put in all of our various interests and what was your favorite TV show. I don't know. I guess maybe I was just a little bit of a smart aleck in a Catholic school. And the name of Ida's new television show with husband Howard Duff was called Mr. Adams and Eve. So that intrigued me and all the visuals about that. But the night that the show came on here's Ida Lupino I've never seen before. There's just this amazing energy and exuberance, and I was hooked, absolutely hooked, and have been ever since.
Ever since.
I just discovered that in my Wild Wild West collection.
The Wild Wild West?
That there's an Ida Lupino website. Here she is in this sort of a outfit that's somewhere between a sari and the Mother Superior outfit as a mad scientist, Dr. Faustina. And here's the same quality, this breathless exuberance and knowing how to work the camera.
Right. So Ida Lupino sings 3 songs in Roadhouse. The first one she does is she pushes the piano back, puts her cigarette on top of it, and sings the Johnny Mercer, Harold Arlen tune, One for My Baby, which later on became Frank Sinatra's calling card, right?
Yes.
It's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you and me.
What did you think?
Well, I have a prejudice about the song.
Oh.
I think it's a man's song until you hear Ida Lupino sing it. Yeah.
Okay.
We're drinking, my friend.
Boozy song.
It's a boozy song, and quite frankly, every cigarette that Ida ever smoked and every double bourbon she's ever had is in that throat.
Yeah.
One more for the road.
Now, the second song she sings is very different. It's a song called Again by Dorcas Cochran and Lionel Newman, Randy Newman's uncle. And this song is a very different song, and it's very beautiful, isn't it?
That's my favorite in the show.
Again. This couldn't happen again. This is that once in a lifetime.
Then she goes on and she sings a song called The Right Kind. Now that's my favorite. The Right Kind is this boogie-woogie kind of happy little thing, and she's having the time of her life. And what I love about this is in the background is this fur trapper who's drooling, and she's singing her totally oblivious to this guy.
Standing while she's playing.
Standing while she's playing in the most gorgeous, is that gold lame or silver lame?
Oh, silver.
Silver lame, I want it, but she's having the time of her life.
Breakfast at 7, the right kind.
This is what Ida teaches us, I think, as singers, is that it's more than pear-shaped tones. that really communicates a song to people.
Right.
It's rhythm
The
and
text.
and the text and feeling the song and feeling the lyrics and communicating the lyrics.
But what are you feeling and what are you
There's only
communicating?
one kind of lovin', the right kind of lovin', your kind.
I heard, in fact, that they asked her to perform live after they saw her in this movie. I'd go see her.
I would too.
For me.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the song again because it became really big and had a very, very long shelf life. And this song that Ida Lupino introduced in this movie went on to be recorded and sung by Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole and Etta James and Vic Damone, Doris Day. I mean, and that was the era, right, when big singers of the day just sang the same songs.
Yes.
If it was a good song, they sang it.
That's right.
But what I love about, again, too, is it pushed its way up into the late 50s and into the early 60s, where the doo-wop youngsters grabbed this thing and just had a field day with it.
Again, yeah, darling, again.
My favorite is this doo-wop group called the Universals. And what I love about their version is they do it in the same key that Ida does. But she's an octave lower. So Ida was so smart. I mean, as you said, she went on into her 70s directing movies, and she started when she was really young. So she really knew what she could do and what she couldn't do. And she always seemed to take the attitude of, I can do that too.
I think she knew what needed to be done.
She knew what needed to be done. And her voice in this movie is just right.
Yes.
But it's interesting that she makes sure that we know that she knows that she's not a singer.
Small talent, small pickings.
Well, I got a small voice. Besides, who said I was good?
She does more without a voice than anybody I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then she also has a little speech to Cornell Wilde where she talks about how she was studying opera and then lost her voice. It just went.
Yeah, I went with a couple of packs of cigarettes, you know?
Exactly. Interestingly enough, a few years later, she made a movie called Private Hell 36. And in Private Hell 36, she also plays a cocktail lounge singer named Lily Marlowe. And Lily Marlowe sings at the Emerald Room.
That I'll never fall in love. Didn't you know?
It's a song called Didn't You Know by a guy named John Franco. And once again, she makes sure that someone takes a pot shot at her voice. And Steve Cochran just lets her have it.
Thanks, I'll make it under my own steam.
Yeah, I bet you will. You should be a smash with that voice of yours. That's what you had in mind, isn't it? Singing.
Shut up.
And Ida Lupino's career around this time was where she was sort of verging into starting to direct movies, and she made all kinds of things, good and bad. And I would say that if she was in them, they were good.
Yes.
Yeah, no matter what the budget. She has 2 movies that feature a performer who is the king, he really was good, of cocktail lounge singing. And Matt Dennis was a terrific musician, a terrific, beautiful singer.
Arranger also.
An arranger and songwriter, wrote some jazz standards that we all know and love.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a movie that Ida made called Jennifer in 1953, and it's a very low-budget thriller. And in Jennifer, she goes out dancing with Howard Duff at a cocktail lounge. And in this cocktail lounge is none other, sitting in the corner, singing and playing, Mr. Matt Dennis, singing a little ditty he wrote called Angel Eyes.
And why my angel eyes ain't here. So
Now, every jazz musician, I would say, knows Angel Eyes. It's
Huge standard.
a beautiful song. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Later on, she directed a movie called The Bigamist, and in The Bigamist, she goes out dancing at a cocktail lounge, but this time she's dancing with Edmund O'Brien, and who is sitting in the corner singing and playing but Mr. Matt Dennis, singing another song he wrote called It Wasn't the Stars That Thrilled Me.
But it wasn't the stars that thrilled me.
It's a treat to see Matt Dennis because you see his name on sheet music, and now you got a face to that. But a lot of these songwriters, like Dorcas Cochran, it's hard to even find a picture of her.
Mm-hmm.
But and we know that Again was her big hit. But you and I have a favorite song that Dorcas Cochran wrote the lyrics to. Any I Love Lucy fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. I Get Ideas.
Yeah, that's a great number.
When we are dancing and you're dangerously near me, I get ideas.
Dorcas, you've done your job on Earth. You really have. Now, I wanted to try it as if I wanted to sing it in Ida's key.
Right.
And maybe Ida's key would inform how I sing it.
Well, it would sure inform you how she sang it.
Okay, can we try it?
Sure.
She's in A flat. At once in a lifetime. Oh boy. This is the thrill divine. Oh, I'd have to say, she didn't say, she went the thrill divine. Yeah, I don't think she had what's more.
Let's go to what I think would be a good key for
Okay.
you, which would be E flat. And do that little again thing.
Again. Like that?
Yes, keep going.
This couldn't happen again.
Almost.
This is that once in a lifetime. This is the thrill divine.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, and look at where it's gotten her. Oh, it's the thrill divine. Oh, sure.
What's more, this never happened before. I'm imagining Cornell.
Yes.
There's only one kind of loving, one kind of kissing, the right kind, the right kind. There's only one kind of loving that I've been missing, the right kind. I'm tired of too many guys with casual eyes. I know their lines from A to Z. I want a man who is no also ran. Daddy, oh daddy, where can you be? There's only one kind of heaven, breakfast at 7, the right kind, the right kind. There's only one kind of living, worth all the giving, the right kind. I've got the word from my heart, I heard from my heart, and I find